here.
You didn't put my middle name, it was ugly on my
We
birth
continue our
certificate,
sidebar
right?
here
My
for a
name.
minute
Oh,
there.
I'm sorry.
The letter,
Is there any reason not to act on this tonight? Looks like pretty quick.
no, I don't believe so. And the reason I say that is that we have advertised for positions, for.
That it?
For boards and
That's it.
committees. And the, part of that has been the sewer district appointments. As of this date, I don't believe anybody else has come forward to ask for consideration.
If it's-
Their charter recommends that, or indicates within the charter that you need to have some sort of action by or before May 30th. And seeing this is your last business meeting before the end of May.
We have one more on May 29th, but that's,
Well, no, you don't.
no. I think
No.
that's-
Your meetings are the first and third Tuesday,
So
so
on a-
that's an extra.
On a week with 5 Tuesdays,
Right.
we miss one, and that
You
would
miss
be it.
one.
Okay, well.
So, you could act on this tonight.
What is it?
It's for the reappointment of trustees to the sewer district.
Oh, yeah. I'll move that we reappoint Ronald Turcott and
Priscilla?
Priscilla Doobie. I have
two.
something to think about
Depends
doing
on the
here.
other one.
Well, we've
Don't tell
got a
them.
motion on this already, Mr. Manager. Second, all in favor of reappointing these trustees to the sewer district?
I say, we
Consider it
got,
done. Vote.
and the second was from Mr. Trevling, right?
Yes.
5-0. Okay, good, thank you. Happy you got that. Thanks.
You know, we usually ask them to come before us, but I think all of us know both of them very well. At least I do.
And his letter states that their
Okay,
signature
good.
is willingness and intent, so.
They're very good.
Because
Mr.
I'm
Ronald
looking
Turcott.
for the other three of these warrants.
Judy has them.
You have them. Okay, Judy, and I'll give you these, how's that? All right, there's one there.
You better
So
check
that
to make
final
sure they're all
figure is,
signed.
assuming, well, we better not make any assumptions about how this vote's gonna go. I was gonna try to summarize reaffirm the $1.10 increase if these articles pass. That's where we're at, right?
Well, yes, and you'll have that opportunity, Mr. Chairman, at the public hearing that will be held on June 12th. That will be the time that the selectmen present this warrant to the public. They're able to ask questions. You can provide to them some information relative to what the warrant all means. And then hopefully they're informed as they go to into vote on the 27th and 28th.
All right. So we are at development of tasks, goals, and objectives, and we had a discussion briefly between three of us here that it's probably not something we're going to be able to give proper attention to this evening in detail, and that we should perhaps discuss the personnel as they pertain to personnel turnover in the coming
Sure.
couple of months. So
Yep.
let's.
Just
I'm gonna-
focus
I'm
on
gonna
that.
get that out here if I can put my hands on it, and we should have a special meeting to take a look at these goals and accomplishments and feather them into the schedule like we initially discussed. But again, that's not tonight. Well, of course, I'm not able to put my hands on it here quickly. Okay, so you wanted to lead a brief discussion on your recommendations as it relates to this and
Correct.
the coming 6 or 8 weeks.
Yeah, my feeling on it is that we have,
I can't keep standing up to see.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead, move them.
I'll put them in front of me
see
so
me.
nobody can see my
Um,
face.
we have two administrative positions that are very critical, in my view, to the operations of the town, that being the finance director and the town manager. Both will be departing their services with the town at the end of the fiscal year. So, to a certain degree, time is a little bit of the essence in that I think you need to be able to be in a position that, at the very minimum, that you have some interim folks in position to assist you as the new fiscal year begins, and provides to you the ability to search out and seek proper individuals to fill those other positions. My suggestion would be, there are several companies around that provide this service, but the one that comes to mind for me right now would be Municipal Resources Incorporated. They provide a total gamut of different types of services, municipal. They provide temporary assistance within financing as well as administration, and could provide to you the ability to have some folks in place on an interim basis and assist you in the development of advertising and shorten up a selection, as well as assist you in interview questions and so on and so forth as you move forward. That's one that I know of.
Where are they out of?
They're out of Meredith, New Hampshire.
Yep.
They're the same company that right now provides us our assessing services.
Oh,
They
that's
have
what
a
I
full-
thought. That's
okay.
what I wondered.
Another company that provides it is Eaton Peabody out of Portland. Don Garish, he used to be the city manager for the town of Brunswick. It runs their organization. He has done several searches for municipalities in our area. They also can provide services for interim administration if you so require it. So my thought process would be, and those are the two that just come to my mind right now.
What about MMA?
MMA can provide you research services to fill positions, but I don't believe they can give you
Interim?
interim expertise that you may require in a short time as you move forward. So my recommendation would be to advise me to contact those two companies to see their availability and cost associated with it. And if there's another company that we can, and I don't know one off the top of my head, maybe some of you do, I can do a little more research, that we contact one other company to provide us, to see if they have that same type of services, to give you a leg up as you begin the new fiscal year and you start transitioning into some new full-time folks.
How much of an overlap do you think we need in these two positions, the two major positions, assuming we've got some upward mobility for one of them?
I don't think there'll be a lot of overlap necessary if in fact you have if you have some folks in place to start July 1. I would say that maybe that last couple days. I'm not quite sure about the finance office. I haven't spoken to her exclusively as to what type of front advantage, advance notices she will have on hers, and we can have that discussion tomorrow to give you better flexibility. But I wouldn't see there'd be a lot of overlap. I would say that both of us, as we leave, will have tasks and duties that we've identified, issues that the board is dealing with, to assist these new folks as you move forward.
It seemed like we should have a week or something at least.
I would assume that there should be some form of a task outline for each position that, that is either in place or should be in place to provide that actual input.
There's no retired town managers around here?
Well, again, Eaton Peabody and Municipal Resources utilizes those contacts that they have.
The only thing with municipal resources, all I ever hear out of them is the regulations of New Hampshire. And you know what? I'm a little sick of that. I want regulations in Maine. We're Mainers. We're not New Hampshire people.
They provide a lot of services to municipalities in Maine, and they
Well,
continue
get
to.
get a list of them for me so I can check them out, because I'm not one of their.
So I'm open to any suggestions that the board has as we begin this process.
But that Easton Peabody out of Portland?
Eaton Peabody.
Eaton Peabody. Oh, I got Easton. Eaton.
Do we have job descriptions handy for not only these positions, but other positions?
Yes.
In town? Okay.
You won't have one specifically for the town manager's position. It's basically outlined in statute, as well as any duties or responsibilities are provided by the board as we progress through. The finance office, I believe we have a job description for that position.
Yeah, the town manager, we run under the state statutes for town manager form of government.
Yeah, well, that book that you've got there, I think they actually have sort of a description.
Yeah,
It's
well,
a little bit more
that's
substantial
why
than
I
the statute.
brought it out, because I was looking into this, and the manual that you handed me, Mr. Manager, when I was first elected, ends at the end of chapter 8, and it's chapter 9 that deals with personnel and all of these relative issues. So I have no guidance in that
Oh,
area
I'm sorry.
in my manual.
Chapter 9 was left off
I
yours?
need from page,
Left off mine, too.
I need, you
Oh, well,
also?
we didn't get, I don't think any of us got it.
Did we all get the same version, if you will?
We all got
I
the
never,
same
I
one.
never got that loose leaf notebook.
Well, the
Well, you
newly
got-
elected folks did.
Well, evidently, I mean, all I know is what I learned.
We probably need 2 complete
Serving on
manuals
state and local
made.
government, I know the
And
state
then
statute.
Make
three
sure
of us,
those
three of us need
deposit.
from page 159
I
on,
know it, but I
To the
still
end of
like
the
to
manual,
check
which
it
is-
out.
Chapter 9 on?
chapter 9 on.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a couple hundred pages
My
missing.
apologies to you, sir.
Okay. Accepted.
Did you get
Thought
one of
maybe
those,
that was
Bob?
a test to see if I was paying attention, Mr. Manager.
Could you please
doing
tell
my
me
homework.
why the new elected ones got one and us old people here never got one?
But now, wait a minute, you clarify that.
I don't know what she did with it.
We're the ones that could be senile, you know.
Well, we know you are, but
Mr. Chairman, how would you like to proceed with this? Do you want to try to get that together? You do have an open Tuesday on the 29th if you wanted to come back in sort of a workshop session to discuss this particular parameters. It would provide us enough time. I don't think it would take,
And we
maybe by then we'll have some more data for you to share with you.
need to act on this pretty quickly.
I think, you ought to get proposals from both of those firms. you know,
And
just to-
maybe a third one, a second one in Maine.
have to find one, I
Well,
just
go
don't know.
down and talk to them about anything to do with assessing. All you hear, the regulations out of New Hampshire are so much better and all that. Well, I don't need to hear that.
Yeah.
You can ask them for people from Maine.
Pardon?
You can ask them for people from Maine.
What else?
All right, so by the 29th, can we have,
Yes.
can we have enough information to be ready to act?
what's the date you're looking at?
Tuesday the 29th.
It's the day after Memorial.
No.
Well, whoopee-doo.
The day after Memorial Day. Memorial Day is
Oh,
28th.
Memorial Day is Monday the 28th, okay.
Yeah.
We'll get it done for you.
Is the 29th is
I'll be gone
good?
fishing for a couple days,
Yeah.
but it won't.
So it's your expectation that we're gonna have an interim in your position until there's not enough time to interview and hire with the engagement of one of these companies?
Oh, no.
Yeah, you won't have enough time to do all those things that you need to do.
No, you won't.
All right, so let's, if everybody can meet on the 29th at 6:30.
Okay.
We may be able to have a broader discussion on some of these other things too at that time, if that's the primary focus of the meeting.
Okay?
And 12 is
You
our
may want to
public,
add to that list, there may be
12th, the
some
public
other
hearing,
things that
am I right?
you really want to tackle as
June
the
12th?
new year begins.
What's that?
June 12th is our public
Good
hearing.
with that?
Public hearing.
You good with that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Everybody okay with the plan down there, 29th?
Yes.
All right, 29th,
And
6:30.
June 12th is our public hearing.
Yes.
And the
We'll
5th,
be developing a public hearing notice that will need your
my books,
signatures.
and my
but-
book sale at the library is 5, 6, 8, and 9th of June.
Thank you.
The dinner's
Yeah,
the
thank
first,
you.
ooh.
One other item, I think all the board members got a letter from Mr. Long requesting a $13 refund for $1 a page copy charge because there was electronic files available and
And they
he
didn't-
wasn't giving them electronically, he was charged for copies.
Correct.
So it seems like a refund would be in order since they could have been delivered electronically at no charge.
The statute doesn't address it that way. That's why he was charged for the money like we charge everybody for it. We
Okay,
try to
so-
prohibit that. Yeah, it's
Try-
something that the board can it's something if the board wishes to modify and change, you certainly can do that. But the Freedom of Access Act provides the ability of the person seeking the information to come in and view it, decide what they would like, and then we provide copies to what they would like. I think what's happened here, Mr. Chairman, is that the statute is behind the technology that's available to the municipality and to the residents. And I think a lot of folks have an expectation that this information should just be a click away and provided. What we've tried to do is try to, as best we can, to stick to that statute. The selectmen can address and advise staff that you would like to have that disseminated if it's appropriate in electronic form, and we'll do whatever the board wishes to do.
Okay, right now, it's not in electronic form, and you could not send it to him, am I
It's not
right?
necessary, no, that's not true.
Oh, well, and I'm not up on all this electronic stuff, so explain to me.
Well, oftentimes that stuff will be there. We also have the capabilities of scanning documents and sending them. It's some time for the staff, but the statute says that any time that takes an hour or less is absorbed by the municipality. Some of the things that we're talking about would not take more than an hour to address.
So it would seem like we should move into the electronic age and either provide documents that already exist electronically to those requesting them, or to scan versus, it takes as much time to scan as it does to copy.
Pretty much.
And, but then
Yeah,
you've
but-
gotta send an email.
But we don't, if we make copies, we use paper. We have to buy paper.
Right.
But if we
Well, if we're not
scan,
saying-
we don't.
Right, that's right, we're not saying, if paper copies are made, then, it's $1 a page, that's been the past policy. But if they're scanned, or they exist electronically already, you can just email them, there's no paper cost, and we could do that as a courtesy, since these are tax-paying residents anyway, and not charge them. So it seems like we should take advantage of that at every opportunity. Scan documents and email them, if that's what the resident would prefer. I know.
I just know we're stepping outside the statute, and the only thing I would be concerned about would be that we don't have a problem doing it. I just don't want it to be it's nice to do it, but I don't want it to be an overburdening, overwhelming thing. If there's a availability that people understand that it's there. I know some municipalities that have been inundated with public document requests that have taken staff away from their primary duties, and that's the only thing that I would avoid. If I felt that this was going to be a burden, I would have come back to the board and advise you of that,
Yeah.
so you could reevaluate
Yeah.
your position relative to those requests.
How long, I guess the time frame would have a lot to do with it. How long does it take to scan something and send it?
The statute says we have to do it within a reasonable time.
No, I understand that. I'm talking about the actual act of doing it. How long
It
would it take?
depends on how large the
No, it
document
depends
is.
on the
Right.
document size.
Oh.
A good copier, I'm not sure what we have, but they'll scan as quickly as they'll copy. They'll,
I think
multiple
ours
pages per
scans
minute.
quicker than it copies.
Scans quicker. So I just want to make sure if we change this policy, which it sounds like I'm definitely in favor of doing, it sounds like we should, that everybody's treated equally. So what you're suggesting as well, if time warrants, that still leaves some subjectivity. So if one resident comes in, they might be treated differently than another resident based on time constraints or something that is up to the discretion of the town employee. So,
That wasn't what I was trying to portray.
I know,
I'm
but
sorry.
that's a possibility.
Yes.
And Mr. Long was concerned that he was, that somebody else may have received the document electronically, since that's how it originally existed. It had to be printed out of an electronic copy, as I understand it. But anyway, so we're in agreement that Mr. Long should be refunded $13 for his copies?
Well, if you're gonna refund him, you're gonna refund everybody
we have
else?
to refund
That's the
everybody.
issue. I do
Okay.
agree with Selectman Murphy. I think it's great to move it forward, but if you begin that, I know that,
Yeah,
I know we have a lady right behind us
Jody's coming in for a
that
couple
spent over
hundred.
hundreds of dollars for copies.
So, I mean,
And
you're
that
talking
she
about
could
this
clearly
potentially
come
being
in
a
and ask.
burden. Is it your opinion that this dollar is somehow something that's designed to discourage people from requesting copies?
No, not at all.
Okay.
It was established by the board a while ago, and I don't believe that was the intent.
So the fact that they're possibly going to be free if we move to the electronic age here, you're not anticipating that's going to increase freedom of information requests, and that currently it's not a burden. We could reevaluate it if it became a burden.
I think that's what you want to do, Mr. Chairman, is reevaluate it if in fact we come back and report that there's a problem.
I think one of the things that you need to look, or to include in any policy, is when you have Freedom of Information Act or Freedom of Access Act requests, sometimes people are looking for something specific, sometimes they can name a document specifically, but sometimes they're just looking. So that's why I think you need to, if we're gonna do a policy, or the rest of the board does one next year, it should address these different levels of what people are requesting, because it could become onerous. And then if they request something, you give them the wrong thing, and then you're going back and forth. So I mean, I think, there are sample policies. I think Maine Municipal probably has
I
some.
believe they do.
So, I mean, you can do a pretty good job on a policy that would,
They can always come to the library for 20 cents a copy.
Yeah, but you're not open.
Well, no, if you give us more money, we
How
would.
would you like to proceed, Mr. Chairman?
Well, I'd just like to make sure that everybody's aware that Mr. Long claims that he was, that, I think it was Janet or Judy was ordered to convert it from an electronic file to a paper file to charge $1 each when,
No, I didn't, I had a paper file, I copied it for him, but he said it was electronic, to get it electronically, so,
okay, so it was not an electronic file to begin with.
no, I had a copy. And I know, and
Did it come originally from an electronic file? That's important.
Probably did, I mean.
What copy is he alleging that we overcharged him for?
I don't know, I don't wanna, I don't know what it was. I don't know if he says
it was
what
a
it was.
grant application, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Was it the safer
Had you
grant
got it
application?
electronically?
She had, the copy that she had to make a copy from was paper.
And I, and I got it, I copied. But it's, I didn't have it electronically, I had a copy, I made a copy of it, it probably was originally electronic.
Oh, but you haven't got the electronic
Mr.
thing.
Chairman, it depends on what document he's referring to, whether or not we have electronically or not.
So you're talking to somebody who's completely illiterate on this stuff, this electronics and scan.
So-
And our office always had a policy of all the copies.
Right, so if you initiate a change in the policy, that's fine.
And we just need to know, because we don't want to be
Right.
charging one
Okay.
person.
Yeah, they,
Okay, so you had a printed copy, and you made copies of that for Mr. Long. It wasn't an electronic file to begin with.
Originally, it probably was, but I didn't have it on my computer as an electronic file.
Okay. All right, well, we want to make sure we're treating everybody equally, and we'll develop a policy that does just that, with some parameters.
would you like to seek out some samples if they're available?
Probably a good idea.
Sure.
Some samples. as in
Sample policies for electronic?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, that would be great.
All right.
All right,
I think Jody's getting ready for a long talk.
I think we're,
I'm sorry?
I think Jody's.
any
getting ready
abatements
for
and
a long
supplementals?
talk. Look at the stuff she's got laid out.
Okay, we
over
have
there.
one more public comment sector. Anybody else, before we get into public comment, have anything else for the agenda?
Bedtime.
Public comment, Mr.
Public
Wheeler.
comment, Jody.
I was just gonna suggest, I think you guys are also invited to the SAD 60 meeting on the 30th with their attorney to talk about, get training on the freedom of access, while somebody else is paying for the attorney. Well, everybody is.
Yes, that's
It would be a good one, June 30th, I
Yeah,
believe.
it's June 30th.
A good one to attend. I mean, you can ask questions and maybe
I
get some
sent
things
you an
answered for
email in
yourself.
reference to
Yes,
that.
you
Yeah,
I
you
know
did.
that Mr. Haley got back to me, and I'm not quite sure if anybody else did it.
Well, put me
What
down.
was the time of that again?
What time? At 7 o'clock?
No, that's right, I can find it when I get home.
What time is it, Keith?
I'm not
Yeah.
sure, I have
That's
to,
fine, I can look at it again.
I'll follow
Okay,
up on it.
Thank you.
I had a public comment that I wanted to make, if I could. I just wanted to offer a public congratulations to one of our local high school girls. She's a member of the Girl Scouts, and she received her Gold Award, which is basically the equivalent of a Eagle Scout for the Boy Scouts. Her name is Ashley Sheedy. She's a senior here at Noble High School, and I just wanted to pass that congratulations on to her in this forum.
Very nice.
Great.
That's good.
Congratulations.
She's also my babysitter.
She sounds like a
No,
great
not
kid.
my babysitter.
Yes, sir.
Hi, I'm Eric Saucier. I live at 85 School Street. It's right across from Emerald Drive, I think it's called. And there's a walkway, a crosswalk that goes across Route 9, School Street, that there needs to be a sign put up there to watch out, must stop for pedestrians crossing, because someone's going to get killed. And there's a lot of kids that live up there, and they cross the street. There's people with carriages. They cross right there.
Where is that?
It's about 2 houses up from Aroma Joe's heading towards North Berwick.
Oh, okay.
Okay, is it near Dobson?
Yeah, right by Dobson.
Okay,
Yep.
remember, I had spoke to you, Keith, that also a crosswalk across Dobson, that sidewalk.
Yeah, also right there,
Should
yeah.
be painted too.
Yeah, and it's very, someone's gonna get killed. The trailer trucks go by there 50 miles an hour, and it's only a 25-mile-an-hour zone, and it's something that needs to be addressed, I think.
Public Works to paint that?
We'll take a look at the crosswalk. I'm not sure what's there now.
There's nothing
There's a
on
crosswalk
Dobson.
right there, but you can just barely see
Well, I
it, but there
just
needs to be
gotta,
a sign
I just
there.
gotta reconfirm who's responsible for it, if it's the state
State
or
road,
us.
yeah.
But we'll follow up on it,
So let's
certainly.
put that under unfinished business for
And
next time.
also, behind my house, there is it's called a wooden abutment or buffer. What is that? Is that town-owned? It's got yellow signs saying wooden buffer.
Wooden buffer?
Yeah, a wood buffer.
Wood buffer. Where are you located again? Are you on Emerald?
No, I'm on the same side of the street as Aroma Joe's. I just bought that little yellow house there that's directly across from Emerald.
Okay.
I'm on the left side of the street
It
heading
used
up.
to be
That
Austin
is
Place.
town-owned property.
It is.
It was turned over to the town. I believe that's the Dobson estate.
Yeah, it runs
Right.
behind me and next to the Dobson.
Yeah, the backside, the northwestern side of Dobson Street, where those houses are, beyond them is town-owned land.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, can anybody walk in there? I walk my dogs in there, and I don't even know if I'm supposed to be in there. So anybody can go in. That's public
It's
property then.
town property.
Okay.
Yep.
And also, you have a right-of-way, the town does, to the left of me. If I'm standing in front of my house,
Yep.
there's a right-of-way there. Can somebody come up and show me where that is? Because I'd love to put a fence up to block the view. And I just don't want to put it on, where you guys don't have access to get back
You're
there.
at 85 School Street.
Yep.
Okay. I'll relay that to the town engineer and have him come up and visit you
Okay.
and go over that.
All right. And also, talking about the people that work at the transfer station, what's the age limit, the minimum age that somebody could work there? Why can't they use the kids that need to use community service to help at that town barn? I mean, the
I
dump.
believe because there's machinery involved, they have to be a minimum of 18,
18?
and it could be 21.
Well, there are 18 years old, probably seniors that need community service.
You know.
But-
You're right, it's a great place,
Yeah.
But I think they could help people unload their cars and things like that.
but they're involved with machinery.
Yeah, but you can hire students in a restaurant.
18 when I worked there, it had to be 18.
And it wouldn't cost anything,
Got those two compacts.
you know.
Right, yeah.
Anyways, that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Say, in a restaurant, you can hire kids under 18, but they just they can't go near a fry later or knives or
We're not
anything.
in the fryer later, we're at the transfer station.
I understand that, but I mean,
Jeez, I'm telling you.
Before we continue with more comment, if there is any, dedication of the town report.
Like, no wonder my husband was doing a steeple at 15.
Yeah, we,
We want to throw that out there for suggestions, or
I
what?
don't believe it. I believe kids can.
yeah, you would have to do it right now. We've gone years without it. I think just in the transition, it just never got addressed by you folks.
Are we not going to dedicate this year's town report?
Well, if you can think of somebody to dedicate it to, I've been thinking, and I haven't come up with anything yet. Anyone? Anybody here know who we could dedicate it to?
Me.
Okay, Andrea.
Yeah,
You know somebody
Okay, how
that,
about Gene Butler?
somebody that hasn't, I don't think has ever been nominated is, he used to be a banker in town, lives up on, God, names bother me. Huh? Keith Bowles. Was he ever on?
Yeah, he was on the board for years.
No, I'm talking about, was it
I'd have
town?
to research, I'd have to go back.
Yeah, I don't,
I
I
think
don't
it'd probably
remember
be
that he
best to
was.
just.
I don't remember he's ever been named.
I
Yeah,
just
How
have
much time
nothing.
do we have?
Well, I'm supposed,
You know, Keith would really be an excellent person because
Yeah.
he's been involved in town affairs a lot. He's Historical Society, he and Cindy worked hard, and he was selectman for a long time, and he's not very well.
no, I'd have to have a little bit of time to do some research. First of all, make sure he's never been given it before, and then I have to get hold of the family to give me some history. As
Yeah, he was Citizen of the Year one year,
Yes, he was.
but I don't ever recall him being, for that. And that's an excellent suggestion, in my opinion.
I think Gene Butler's a good idea, too.
Yeah, Gene is a good idea.
Just
So-
remember, we're short on time here.
So, do we want to act on this? If we want to, now's the time. We don't have any biographies to choose from to review. Does that make it inappropriate? I mean, if
Probably
we've
be
got three
best to
board
wait
members
until
who.
next year. Yeah.
I've
so,
known both of them for years, so
Yeah, I have
that
too.
would be good recipients. Either one
Yeah.
would be a good
I mean,
recipient.
Gene's been involved in the town dispatch for the,
Yeah.
when our police department was hardly nothing.
What if we do a dual,
Did you say it's supposed to be a surprise, Judy?
Normally, it's always been a surprise.
oh, the cat's
Well,
out of
it
the
isn't
bag.
anymore then.
How about a dual dedication?
Well, you could. I
Just
know.
because of time and
Yeah.
fairness and.
How about ladies first?
Ladies first.
It seems like time is an issue.
Yeah.
It seems like time is a real issue.
Everything has been pushed back. Normally, town reports are all printed. I mean, today would have been a town
So
meeting.
you're not even you're in favor of not doing anything for
No,
time
I-
constraint?
No, I'll do whatever you say. I'm just saying that time is it is, I have to have, by the end of the week, I have to have the town report ready to.
Why don't we,
I think we've got 3 votes.
I go with Keith Bowles. Period.
Do you have a second?
I'll go with Keith this year.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
I don't know.
All right, we have a dedicated
He was a
town
he was a
report.
bank examiner. When he was at Knox Lane,
Um,
he's in 82 or 3, he's up in
We should put on
Rochester.
new business at some point,
Been very involved in
this
town.
combined meeting between South Berwick
Age
and
limits.
Berwick regarding police consolidation. I guess I'll just carry that forward, or unless you want to put it on what's our first meeting in June? Is that-
If you could do me one favor, if you don't mind, Mr. Chairman, you've laid out a lot of examples tonight. If you could just embellish them into an email, and I'll make sure they get attached, and we have all those items that need to be addressed,
Very
I'd
good.
appreciate that.
Okay, back to public comment. Yes, ma'am.
Andrea Wimet. I just want to tell all of you how I appreciate how hard you guys are working, and I know it's hard to cut budgets and stuff, but I think we need to get down to the basics. I know, I just want to give for an example, I worked in GE for a lot of years, and when they told us, you're taking a 5-year cut in pay, we took it. So I think people need to realize that times are hard right now, and they got to accept it. And we got to stay unified, not be separated. So I just want to tell you, I appreciate all the hard work that you guys are doing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Dave Stolpe, 185 Hubbard Road. Just a point of clarification on one of the things you worked on tonight, the forestry unit vehicle. You voted on it, and I realize they got a great grant. I was wondering, the $6,000, is that coming out of the fire department budget, or is that an additional monies.
That is a good question that I can't
I
answer.
think money's there, available within the
In the
CIP
CIP.
budget to
Well,
fund it.
that's code to even me. What does that mean?
Capital improvement.
Okay, so we've already got that allocated for this year. Right, and it's not taking away from any other.
No, and actually, it is a capital improvement, when you come right down to it.
And that
There
was,
you go,
a-
Mr.
Just
Stolpe.
curious,
There's-
because
there's
it was-
your
That
answer
was-
for
it
It
both of
wasn't
us.
part of the budget, so.
Yeah.
Also, you're, just to let you know that you're one town charity that resides in town, the Table of Plenty, just celebrated 17 years of being in service, and as overseers of the poor, you can go down and visit them anytime on Wednesday night from 4 to 6 and see how they're doing. The other thing is, I'm gonna bring you full circle, because when Oscar got up and talked about the signs out by the bridge, I tried 3 times on the previous board, to get an ordinance, a sign ordinance, especially at our gates to our community, to show people that it truly is a gateway to Maine. And the only sign they should probably see is a nice one like that on the wall behind you. And
Gateway Gas isn't working for you, huh?
no, but it's an appropriate sign, name anyway. But the board rejected me a couple times and sent me to the planning board, at which time it took me 3 times to get on their agenda. Not one time like the Batemans got, so. Anyway,
All right, well, don't change the rules for a few and enforce the rules we have for the many. That's what we're gonna do. We're
But
gonna
not-
look at that sign ordinance.
No, we did discuss back along about signs and things, but we never went through with it with the other board. So I
but we
think it's a
didn't
good
have,
idea.
we didn't have a vote. There was only 2 of us, kid.
Well, that's true, too.
All right, well,
But I do think we've got to, do something to.
did you feel like there was an
Except
action
my
item for
library
you out of
signs.
that tonight?
Yes.
Okay,
I'm all set
You're
with
in
that.
trouble
Good.
no
I'm
matter what
I'm
you
very parochial.
this is right. Anybody else? Public comment?
I was sitting out there, obviously, when I heard someone say that there's only 32 people, or maybe 34 people, that are against the fire department's budget. But is that true?
I didn't hear
I didn't
that.
understand it. That's what I'm asking.
I did hear somebody say something about 32 people. I don't remember what it was.
What was
From
the,
the audience, wasn't it?
There was
32 people.
Okay, there's 32
Okay.
volunteer firefighters, is that what that is? Okay,
Yeah.
that's what the 32 is.
okay, that's what I was asking.
Clearly, they do support the fire department
Okay.
budget.
Okay, so I'm going, if I can start where I left off before, and I'm going to go right through the Joe Chambers things, because I know we already went there, but I just want to say, I won't bring up parts of his affidavit that I believe is not true. I will say that it's more than a sad commentary when you have an ex-selectman that's been ousted from his position that goes on the opposing party's side. He's not on the town of Berwick side, he's on Bateman's side. And it is my opinion that Bateman's performed unlawful things, whatever those unlawful things are. So it is also my opinion, we got 2 peas in a pod, Bateman and Chambers. So with that said, I want to say that most people in town do not know my background, and it's not really relative, but I have been in the housing industry. I wish that I could have been involved in some of these special Bateman meetings that weren't put forward to the town's people. But just to give you an idea of where I'm at as just a resident, I believe that that the August 2nd, 2011 permit was an invalidly issued permit, and that they should have gone on August 2nd for a conditional use permit. That's my belief as a resident of Berwick. But I want to go right into my next thing. There's two components to this, and I think I've tried to explain it to Eleanor the best I could before. And we heard it from the attorney up at Misha. There's 20% that has to be, unequivocally, has to be mentally ill,
And homeless.
developmentally disabled or physically disabled, homeless. And when they say mentally ill, it isn't like you can just go to the doctors and say, could you give me a prescription and say I'm suffering from depression? It has to be serious mental illness. It has to be either schizophrenia, bipolar, anything that would have you be allowed
They
to
have
get
to be- Be
SSDI.
provided services too in that.
Say that again?
They have to be provided services.
Who has to be
To the
provided?
mentally ill. That's in that
And-
Masha thing.
Yeah, in the Misha thing, as she calls it, is a part where it indicates that Misha, via Bateman, needs to supply the guest of that project some social services. And they did say it in their application that there was going to be, I believe it's an 1,100 square foot room that is going to be set up so that many different social services can set up there. Well, that was in their QAP process. It's not evident anywhere else. It's not evident in what they have in their building plans. But nevertheless, I want to make sure that people realize, again, that this isn't social service, just, it's what Misha and I discussed yesterday. You got Berwick, Maine, you got Sanford, Maine, you got York, Maine. Berwick's right here, there's no services. I just heard David Stopey say that TOP, Table of Plenty, is the social service agency of the town. All those people, all the 20% need wraparound services. They call it intensive case management. They're not people, never have been in this little realm, able to take care of themselves and sustain housing. So HUD has built in protections for them and said, geez, let's give them wraparound services. But how are we wrapping around service in Berwick when we don't have any services? Their medical insurance cards from the state of Maine, because most of them have it, not all, but a good percent, don't go across the border. So it's not like you have the ability to take your Maine state insurance card and go over to Dover and get whatever kind of therapies or whatever kind of case management things that you need. So with that said, I want to share with you, because I've had a long, long time working with people that are indigent and homeless, that the bulk of the community, the population, makes somewhere between $500 and $600 a month with their SSI or SSDI. The problem there is they depend on those wraparound services to buff up their low income. And when you don't have a town that has any of those, let's call them buffer uppers, then what do? How can you put someone in there who is going to have nominal income and has no wraparound services? And when I addressed this to Dan Brennan yesterday, I'm going to tell you what he did. He sat there and thought about it because he had no answer. Because that's not what HUD wants. HUD doesn't want that. And so we're talking about the hardest to engage, the hardest to serve individuals, that 20%. But then I'm going to move on to the other 80%, because they're 50 and or 60% average medium income. So we move on to them. Well, who are these people? Someone says to me, oh, they're not Section 8 people. Well, why aren't they Section 8 people? Right in the HUD language says that that project over there has to take a Section 8 voucher before, if it was competition and Jody Wright was going in for that apartment, making an income, and then the other person, Jenna, Michelle's getting that apartment, but she's got a Section 8 housing voucher in her pocket, guess who's getting that apartment? The project developer has to give precedence to the Section 8 housing person. But the point is not where they get their funding. It's where they don't get their funding. And they don't get it from a community that doesn't have it in place. So I said this to Misha, how can you do this to these people? How can Bateman, and I'm going to say August 31, I didn't know David Bateman's name, so in my discussion I referred to him as the man with the white hair. You can watch it online. I said to David Bateman, how can you put these people in here and not set them up for intensive case management? Because what you're going to do is make frail people fall apart. He said that's not that kind. We're having just working people, period. He said it on tape on August 31, 2011, the night that Joe Chambers, Marsha Elton, and the other one signed Berwick's death sentence for taxation. But nevertheless, he told us, right, you can go watch it, that those people, so when they signed that lease, whether they did it knowingly or not knowingly, they were doing it based on the Batemans right in front of them saying, it's not that population of residents that are going to be there. These are working people, he kept saying. Well, maybe some of them will be, because I've been low income and working. I can relate to that. But the bulk of them are going to be extremely low income. And so what I'm asking you guys to do, because as my husband said before, everyone's going to come to the plate. I don't know how you guys think that you're going to fit in being selectman, town manager, but someone's got to think about wrapping those services if we get this package from Bateman. What I'm hoping happens is we don't get the package. I hope that the town does the right thing and doesn't allow these people in here, because you're not going to find do-gooders to go over there and hold their hands. What you're going to do is find people who make complaints constantly about the people not being serviced. So it's going to be a perpetual cycle of people not being attended to, and I'm way off where I should be.
Is there any possibility that where these services don't exist, that the vacuum will be filled, perhaps at the York Hospital facility with new jobs? If there's funding, these people have the resources, they may be state resources, to pay for these services if they existed, right?
Yeah.
So since they don't exist, might there be?
What typically happens, is let's use a bigger town, but they usually have.
You know, is there a problem? I mean, I think we're.
No, I'm done.
Jody, I was trying to be tolerant of your comments in light of no public comment prior to the planning board.
I'm tired. Same old, just a different kind of bad, like Tom Levine says. Just a different kind of bad.
Jody,
Well, when you're getting dirty looks back and forth from people sitting at the board table, I'm too tired.
Oh, well, I was smiling, because I agree with you, because I went with you up there, and I know what the guy said. They didn't give a dirty look, did you?
Okay,
Thank you.
well, thank you for those comments, Jody. Anybody else? All right. I think that's it.
Sorry that I voted for you.
We have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Did you give her a dirty look?
Time is
I
it?
didn't.